Start with the questions.
Okay. So, hi doctor, how are you?
Hello, Mahesh. How wonderful to hear from you. How have you been?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Seems we had too much of stress treating people.
Oh, well, the problem is everywhere, you see.
Yeah.
Literally, something that really made the world come together, it really made us one world is COVID. This will stay in history forever, I believe.
Yes. So I will take a formal introduction of yours to the people who are watching. So hello everybody. So this meeting is being hosted by Second World Conferences in Advances in COVID-19, which is going to be held from 27th to 30th of August. So here we have Dr. Natalia. So a brief introduction about her. So her name is Dr. Natalia Zubieta-DeUrioste. She's from Bolivia. She's a physician and she works and does research at the High Altitude Pulmonary and Pathology Institute, Bolivia. And she's the director of High Altitude Museum. She has organized the 7th Chronic Hypoxia Symposium in the world capital city, that is La Paz, Bolivia. As the third in a family, that is Zubieta family, she studies pathophysiology and physiology under the hypoxic conditions. It's a really very great topic. Hypoxia, it's what she's studying is really great. And her works and publications are mainly focuses on studying life and life forms at high altitude chronic hypobaric hypoxic exposure, and she also studies on CMS, CVA, AMS, HAP, high altitude epidemiology, and lately the epidemiology and pathophysiology of COVID-19 at high altitude. So she's currently engaged on masters on nutrition and food program, a food security program, and she's also the convener of this second world conference that is advances in COVID-19. So welcome, Dr. Natalia. It's really very good to have you.
Thank you. It's really a pleasure for us to be joining since we are in such uh, countries that are so far away from each other, no? Because
Yeah.
actually Mahesh is in India right now, while we are in Bolivia in South America. So it's amazing how internet can make us come at the same time and join you all in the rest of the world. So we are
Yeah.
very happy to be here.
Not only internet, but also the current pandemic is made the world to come together. What do you say about this?
That you are completely right. Actually, the lemma we're having for our own conference that we are preparing now, the motto is actually COVID-19, one problem, one world. And this actually came because it's funny how for a long time we have not realized how the world is only just one, and no matter what we're doing in one side of the world, these things has um, an effect on the other side of the world. That's what happened in China. When COVID started in China, a lot of people in the rest of the world were not prepared. And we knew that this could happen because we have had several pandemics in some previous timings throughout history, but also Middle Eastern countries as well as Asian countries have experienced other types of coronavirus diseases before. So when they knew about this, they started to get worried. But we, on the other side of the world, did not realize at the time how hard this could be for the rest of the world. So it is strange how in one world we actually thought we were so separated, but we're not. We're just one thing, and this is one problem that we all can fix together. So it's the right time to join forces, and this is the reason why we decided to do this conference, because many people from all different countries around the world are seeing this as a new thing. They are using all their creativity, all the resources, and they realize they are not alone. We are not alone in this. And several scientists, physicians, and many people around the world are actually joining us because at the end, we're in this together.
Yes, Dr. Natalia. So I have a small doubt. So how about the past pandemic and present pandemic? Now, is there any relation between past and present? Because past we had SARS, we had MERS, we had the Black Death, that is plague, and we had Ebola and all those things. So is there any relation between these?
Well, actually, what you're asking me is very interesting, Mahesh, because when this pandemic started, a lot of people started looking back to see how things were managed before. And it's funny how some things have not changed. People take too long to respond. Many countries don't have the resources. Um, all kinds of clothing that people put around themselves to protect themselves can be very primitive. They can also get very artistic and all kinds of other things, but sometimes it's not very effective. And we would have thought that, for instance, after certain pandemics we had around the world, after 100 years or more, this would have changed. But the truth is that people seem to be pretty similar throughout times. And one thing that does makes us different is that we have the internet thing right now. No, this has really changed the world, because in pandemics have been there for many years back now and throughout history, but the possibility of us connecting within seconds is revolution. And actually, thanks to this pandemic, we're actually getting one of the biggest technological revolutions in history. It's fastest than ever. It's faster than ever. And this is definitely something we have to take out as a positive outcome of this very difficult and complex situation.
Yes, the technology what we have now has made a huge difference now. Because if there was not no technology, this conference would have been thought. So since this technology is there, seeing live, we are seeing live everybody. We are getting the whole scientists together, right?
Yes. So a lot of people have been doing more and more webinars around the world, and they tend to have 1, 2, 3 speakers, maybe just a couple of them, because this is new to the world. But we are actually taking a step forward, and we are willing to have more than 50 speakers and people from all over the world. We have challenges with the timings, we have challenges with the seasons. Also, people from the West will have to be listening to people from the West and East. Sorry, the S, the East and the West. I'm getting confused because at this point I think everything is the same thing. And the South has to learn from the North, and the other way around, vice versa. Because at the end, everybody has something to say. Now the issue is how you can show something to everybody at the same time, because some people are always sleeping when we are working. So we're
Yes.
doing our best, and it's really a challenge, but at the same
Yeah,
time
the
it's a
world
great
is always working.
adventure.
It's always working. There's no rest. If one part is sleeping, the other part is working.
Yes, 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 it's true.
And
It's a great way.
we are working for one particular cause. That is the greatness of
Exactly.
what.
Yes, yes, exactly. So no matter how different we thought we were, how far away we thought we lived, how we actually come from the same thing. We all have the same problems, we all have the same fears, and we all are very mortal. We can really go through very hard times, and learn from this, and
Yes.
but it's a great time to stay together, to not only come back to our families and the people we love, but also to widen the size of who we consider part of our families. And we really believe that people who are around the world and who have different backgrounds are really joining together in this cause, because there's also a humane side of it, of
Yes.
how we can approach this and also accompany us and support us. And this is why we're doing this.
Yes. So I came to know that about this conference. It was very interesting to. So, can you please tell me about the conference, the second World Conference that advances in COVID-19?
Of course, it'll be a pleasure. So please, we'll ask Fatima to put the banner on so we can explain a little bit more about this conference.
Yeah, sure.
Fatima? So while she puts the banner on the screen, we have to say that this is the second World Congress on advances in COVID-19. Why second? Because the first conference was organized by Professor Malali Golda, a very interesting man from the Bengaluru Genomics Center in India, who decided in about July of this year, this current year, to organize the first conference in COVID. And he had wonderful speakers, mostly from the Asian part of the world. And we really learned a lot from them. And my father was invited to this as well. He did some presentations on our current work. And we were fascinated because the Indians' perspective of how they approach the world and disease is something that the rest of the world should be learning from, because we are so used to learning from the Western point of view of current medicine. And definitely medicine know-how is something that does not belong to only one part of the world. And we are all learning from each other and building up current know-how that is useful for everybody. But it's true that different parts of the world and different cultures can sometimes have a different approach to different things that makes other people in the world learn from them. And so that this is how they started to do this conference. And they had several scientists from different parts of the world, but they were focused on, for instance, traditional medicine and nutrition and other aspects that were very interesting, because they did not only focus on the aggressor of the disease, but also on the well-being of the person, so that your immune system and your whole structure is ready and built up to fight anything that comes in front of you. So it's a beautiful approach, because this way, if we combine the know-how people have around the world, then we can combine logical thinking and know-how with also the 330 degrees angle of seeing a disease, not only from the perspective of the aggressor, but also from the perspective of boosting the system and the strength of the person who has to encounter all these things. So this is how Professor Malali started this. And then this was such a success, because people were extremely happy. They enjoyed this tremendously, that at some point Professor Malali said, well, it's such a shame we're not showing this to more people. So we should do this, a bigger conference. We should make of this a bigger event, so that more people can join and learn and share from each other. And this is how this built up. And in a very short time, we found really dozens of people who were interested in participating, in sharing their experiences, researchers, but also physicians, and all kinds of people that before this pandemic these pandemic times had absolutely no idea about COVID at all. Not even us, dear Mahed, because we were in the highlands. There's a particular name for the lowlanders, but we're the highlanders, or sometimes we could be also called like mountaineers, but we're not really climbing the mountains. We live up there. And the thing is that we had absolutely no idea about any of these things. We learned that these things were happening. We were concerned about them. We knew they could come to our countries, but we had no previous experiences. What we did know about was about hypoxia, and we are experts handling hypoxia, because we live at chronic hypoxia. You see,
Yes.
our city, La Paz, Bolivia, is the highest capital city in the world. And Bolivia is in the center, like the heart of South America. And for so many years back, we have been living and treating patients at high altitude, particularly at IPPA, which actually in English turns out as HAPI, the High Altitude Pulmonary and Pathology Institute. It's such an
That's very good
interesting name,
name
you
you
know?
have. Yeah, it's a very interesting name. Happy, like people will be very happy to come to your hospital too. The name itself says happy.
Yes, and it's funny because we never actually thought about this until some people from some insurances, from the patients we were treating along in several years back, they told us, they once wrote to us and they said, hello, Happy, how are you doing? And we did not get what they were saying because the name was in Spanish. And then we found out, and it's such an interesting thing because it's as if unconsciously we would have put in this name because we truly believe that the happiness and the well-being of people have a profound effect in health. And so that's why we were very fascinated by what the Indian people had to say about this in the perspective of the world, because how you treat human beings is in the sense of the soul and not just the organs, as a whole thing makes it a living being. And I think
Yes.
it's a beautiful concept you have there. So at
Yes.
high altitude, I was telling you, we were just working with high altitude, but then some people who started experiencing COVID disease at sea level, they started thinking that this was such a strange thing that they had not experienced before, that this may be a high altitude pulmonary edema. And we were very concerned by this because the signs we were seeing from the different reports we heard and saw around the world, and we could read from different papers, were completely different to our experience. No, we treat this all the time, and so when they told us this, we started really looking into this, and we found out that this disease truly has a great relationship with hypoxia, but the way it is experienced is actually not the way we experience it at high altitude, because there are other factors that make the disease progress in certain situations that lead to a fatal outcome. This is not the case at high altitude because 100% of the people, if they are treated correctly, they will come out well. And so the whole process is different, but hypoxia has an impact on in the body, and there's already a lot of know-how about this around the world. So we should use this current know-how and all the tools we have, bring in with us throughout time to share this with the rest of the world, so that hypoxia and diseases related to pulmonary and respiratory
Yes.
systems can be treated better.
Yeah. At our land, like in India and all, this respiratory system, it is affected the most. So people are they're getting infected for respiratory reasons. So it's getting severe and severe in across India. And at least like people are like it seems to be like okay with the condition of hypoxia because they're already fine with hypoxic condition at high altitude.
Yes, so what happens is that when you are used to experiencing hypoxia, you get adapted. Now
Yes.
at sea level, a lot of people understand adaptation as a process that has a relationship with to the genetic um,
Makeup.
details and and structures, but actually adaptation is a process that should not be only naming these kind of situations. We have to take in count all adaptation that takes place in life through different processes and throughout time. For instance, if you start doing exercise and I tell you to run, Mahesh, right now, probably you haven't been exercising much because you have been working a lot on this conference as we have. And so you might be short of breath, and that won't be COVID. That would be you not doing exercise, you know. But the thing
Yes.
is that the thing is that if you start doing this progressively throughout time, you get you know, more and more adapted to a point where you don't really feel, you know, the this as being a strenuous thing or anything. It's just something completely natural, and your body gets adjusted to this situation. It's exactly the same with hypoxia. People who are experiencing this for a long time, even hypoxic diseases, if they are stable. Now, if they are progressing, of course, the disease is getting worse and worse, but if they are stable, the person adjusts to this, and there are certain mechanisms for this. We're sure that after COVID, a lot of people will present a higher amount of red blood cells in their blood. They might get some changes they have to learn to live with. And at first, this will also be a challenge, but eventually people get adapted to it, like chronic mountain sickness. You see, a lot of people from sea level, they are very afraid of us highlanders living up there, because they think that if you live long enough, you will develop chronic mountain sickness. This is because there's a percentage in the population that is small but significant, who has experienced and lives with chronic mountain sickness. Chronic mountain sickness is basically a situation that has been described by a lot of people as a mountain disease, because people who live in the mountain can have it. But the truth is that us as physicians who live and treat these people all the time know that actually it is not one disease. We have several people who have all kinds of affections, and because of the different organs and the system in their bodies being affected by several diseases, they experience hypoxia in a different way. It's not hypoxia itself. Like, I am right now talking from the highlands, and I don't have this, and nobody in my family has ever had this. And we are not actually generations and generations of us living at high altitude. We actually come from different mixed up of people, from migrations, from all kinds of things. And so
Yes.
my great great grandparents, they came from Europe, and they were related also to, you know, the Africans, the Asians, because the Spanish, when they came to South Africa, South Africa, sorry, to South America, they were themselves conquered for a long time from the Arabs, and I'm sure there's a relationship also with the Indian people. So that's why when a lot of people look at me, they tell me, well, but you look Indian, you know. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we're mixed up in the world, you know. All kinds of people
Yeah,
being
the one
everywhere.
gene, one there that means I think personally think the genes what we have, it may have connections throughout the world. It may have
Yes,
been inherited from someone who we at least don't know, from some other country. So
yes,
heard you
yes.
are the
So
convener of this world conference, is it?
yes, I'm the governor. Well, that was because since we have been working on this thing, people have started looking for us because they wanted our perspective on hypoxia and this disease. Then, well, we randomly started getting into this because the whole world became a specialist out of the blue in a, you know, in, in a couple of months, sometimes in a couple of weeks, because it was necessary. This really teaches you that need is a really good thing, you know, because
Yes.
sometimes when you're just waiting to get better or something, times goes by and you never finish things. But when you're in a hurry, you have to do it, and out of the blue you can do much more than you ever thought you could. And so we started writing about these things, and in several papers with different groups around the world. And we already knew Malali because we have previously been in India due to hypoxia, because the Indian people, Professor Tupil Venkatesh from India, the Letman of India, for many years back now has been looking for people who knew about hypoxia around the world, and that's how we got to meet each other. He actually found my father and grandfather first, and eventually I came along, and we met them in India. And it's funny how we still have more and more things coming up, these projects. And so when we started talking about these things, my father went into this conference. We found out that we could do even more, and eventually they decided to take me in as well, and that's how I got in as well. And then we took Mahesh in the conference, and then we took all kinds of people, and now we have people from everywhere, and we are very excited. So this is how we got inside this.
Yes, actually, we had a live session with Professor Gustavo and Malali also. And yeah, your dad, that is Professor Gustavo, was showing how the richness of India. You know, he was wearing that cap. The we call in India it's
Oh
a
yeah.
turban. Yeah, it was really
Yes, a
good.
turban.
Yes,
Yes, yes. We really have learned a lot from you, and we believe it's a great time that other people also learn from what we can share with them, because one is constantly learning from other people. We are constantly, getting better. That a very beautiful concept Indian people have is the guru
yes,
concept, and I love how normal this is among you people. In the Western world, a guru is like the, I don't know, you have this idea that it would be this guy sitting on a chair far away, and almost as an untouchable being. Well, our experience in India is that you have this feeling that the guru is somebody who teaches you. He's a master, he's an expert on something, but he's also a pretty approachable being.
yes,
And so your guru can be your father, it can be your teacher in the university, it can be somebody who guides you along your way, and you can also become a guru at some point. And
yes,
that's beautiful, because it teaches you that we are constantly learning, and we're learning from
yes,
each other, and we can also get better. We can also try constantly to keep making the best out of ourselves and the people around us. So this is a very beautiful concept, because it brings, in a way, the illusion and reality together, of what we can be in the future, of what we can create in real life, just from feeling that these things are possible, that there's a sense of positiveness in all of this. so
yes.
so so yes, at some point, you people decided to make my grandfather and then my father a guru, and they were also learning from you, from all of
And
you.
soon you too will be a guru one day. Maybe you're already a guru.
Yes, and you too. Yes, and I think we're at some point we're we're always a guru in some extent, but of
Yes,
course some
because
people have
every
much
day
more
is a new
experience.
learning. Every day we learn new.
Yes,
Every day we share new. So it's a new learning thing, and each and every person in this planet is a guru to someone.
yes. So in a way, difference between countries, between time zones, between latitudes is not something that separates people. It's
Yes,
something that complements people, because this way we can learn from each other. We can get better. We can constantly find better ways to approach things better in a different perspective, with better tools. So
yeah,
so
that's
this
what
is
we are
a great
doing.
time in history.
That's what we are doing. We are getting all top gurus to one platform
Yes.
under the conference of and advances in COVID-19. So
Yes.
all top class
Yes.
gurus are coming. All top scientists. I hope everybody is coming.
Yes. At some point, we may actually need to put a limit, because if we have too much people, then we hope the connection doesn't break down. You know, in the old times, when you did a conference, you would have, I don't know, you would only expect a certain number of people, because you had a conference room, and this was limited. So you could not invite 10,000 people in one room, because you did not have enough space. But nowadays, you could be connecting with millions of people through social media, through the internet, different platforms, and not realize that actually these are millions and millions of people.
Yes,
And so it's interesting, because we are closer than ever, I believe.
yes,
So we have to take an advantage of all this, and unite forces, and this is why we
yes.
are here.
We should unite ourselves, and we should show the world what we are and what is happening at the pandemic.
Yes. And
So
also
and
show that everybody in the world knows something that can
yes,
be taught to other people.
So
Please go ahead,
coming to
Manj.
the conference, what are the other activities which have been associated with the conference?
So actually, every single topic in life is associated to several things. So first of all, this Congress is multidisciplinary. So we
Hmm.
are having different areas. Nowadays, people are used to being very specialized. And it's a great thing because you need people to be very keen on details of certain areas. But then you also need connection between the different fields. And we really believe we have to take all angles possible from this disease so we can conquer it and be more and more sure of better outcomes throughout the world. And so as part of this, several activities came along, and one of them is the hackathon. The hackathon is something very beautiful. You can find more details on the website that we will be linking below. But it's a beautiful thing because it brings people, and young people particularly, to join at a particular meeting so that they can share their ideas, they can share some particular views and and things that they have been thinking about, so we can find out better solutions for COVID. So this is Combat COVID-19, and we are welcoming all of you to please join us. Please find the link below and go in the website and join us, because you will have fun, you will learn. We're also having some workshops on bioinformatics. The Bengaluru Genomics Center is organizing this. They have a big experience and a lot of experience with anything that has to do with genomics. They have such experience that they can even build forests. I can tell you this is true. In, before
Yeah, we have
before
Dr. Malali. Dr. Malali, he's the one who does everything.
Yes. And he's like the master of the orchestra. And what happens is that he has a lot of know-how on these things. But we have also wonderful other people like Dr. Pruthby, because he is also well, he's a doctor and he is joining forces. There are a lot of people from all kinds of countries around the world. You can find them in the committee section. We have Dr. Murray from the US. We have our wonderful Indian friends, but we also have people from the States. We have people from Canada. We have people from Germany. We have people from Iran, from all kinds of places around the world, South Africa, and so on, because this is a scientific matter. We are independent scientists and researchers, and and here the only thing that matters is that we can find better solutions for everybody. So this
Yes.
is all this information can be found in the website and also in the links that you can find next to this video.
Mhm. Yes, sir. So, as you told, this conference is going to be the world's best conference till date, hopefully.
Yes, because it's a big issue, you know. I think it is of everybody's interest, and we have so many countries, but also uh, not everybody faces the same trouble at the same time, you know. And so this is a unique opportunity, and this is why we are joining with so many different researchers that are doing all kinds of things in different areas, such as pneumology or pulmonology, such as cardiology, intensive care units management, prevention. We have drug management. We have also the vaccines. We have Ayurveda and alternative treatments. There's a psychological part to this. The other organs, this is also compromising and everything. So we have all kinds of people that are joining, and it will be very enriching.
Yes. So that's it. It'll be a very
Yes.
great conference. I'm looking forward for it. Even I'm looking forward for you also to be at the present conference. And Professor Gustovo is giving a talk on hypoxia at the conference.
Yes, correct. He's actually presenting some of the work we worked on together. And this is about silent hypoxemia and some concepts we developed. He was the creator of pneumolysis, pneumolysis, which actually means the destruction of the lungs. And so this is one of the reasons some people have worse and worse hypoxemia, but they don't really realize this is going on. It's a beautiful topic because we are comparing this to high altitude and see how this could be approached and treated, and it's going to be wonderful. We are very enthusiastic. We have wonderful people participating, not only the speakers, but the organizing committee, but the staff. Everybody is wonderful, and we're very grateful for everybody's participation. So
Yes, and
please join us, all of you.
yeah, is anybody coming? Is anybody giving a talk about vaccines?
Yes, of course. For instance, there's Professor Pollard from the UK. He has been developing some vaccines. We also have some other participants. You can find all the information about this on the webpage. Please find it https://www worldcovidconf.com. You have more information below, but I'm just stressing this because sometimes people forget. Yeah,
Yes.
and they shouldn't. This is a great opportunity for them. So you can find all this information below. Please write to us if you have any questions, if you have any inquiries, anything. We're here to participate, to help you, and to approach people, because this is a great opportunity to make a huge network so we can connect better in the future as well.
Yeah, and also there is a discount for students and faculty and others also, I guess so.
Yes, the current pandemic times are difficult for everybody around the world. So we really want to encourage people, and we're wanting to do this very accessible for everybody around the world. So we can share. That's what matters. So this is what COVID-19, one problem, because every problem has several problems, but I mean, this is just one particular theme, but we're one world and we're in this together. Thank you, Mahesh, for everything. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Natalia. It was very great having you in the live. So hope all people, all the participants who are watching the live will get joined to the conference soon, and hopefully they meet us at the conference.
Yes, they will. It's going to be
They will.
wonderful. Yes.
They will. No, they should do it, because this is the great platform what nobody has done ever till date.
Yes.
So
And it is a challenge, but
yes, it's a
we are
challenge.
willing to really make it possible. It's, to want to do things makes things possible. So we are positive. It's going to be beautiful, Mahesh.
Yes, as the tagline you said, the world is one.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
world is one. We are coming to you. So it's just you have to register for the conference, and we'll be looking forward to you. So thank you, Dr.
Yes.
Natalia. So see you at the conference, and all the participants, please join at the conference. It is called as Second World Conference on Advances in COVID-19, held from 27th to 30th of August 2020. So this is going to be a great platform where all the scientists from throughout the world are joining us with their research, what they are carried out regarding the COVID-19, and a pre-conference program called as Hackathon, where the young minds can share their thoughts, and they just need to write a concept and just send it to us. And also there will be
Yes.
a post-conference workshop called as Bioinformatics of COVID-19 genome. So that is also going to be very, very great, because it's the genome. What like bioinformatics? How do you get data from the genome? How different it is from different genomes? So all the comparison of variants, mutations, everything will be done. So looking forward for you all from 27th to 30th of August. So please come and join. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Natalia. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Mahesh.
Yeah.
We'll be in touch.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye-bye.